Mr. Deputy President, I hope that I rise to discuss not too controversial a topic. I rise to speak about the significant issue of dwelling vacancies, which may be a crucial component, a partial yet rapidly improving the critical supply side shortage of housing in New South Wales. The problem is we just don't know how significant dwelling vacancies are. With thousands of New South Welshmen and women worrying desperately about securing a home, we must go back to basics to understand the reality of the housing environment in which we exist. To properly respond to the housing crisis, it is necessary that we fully understand the problem and the landscape. An accurate audit of dwelling use would accurately reveal the usage of our state's current stock and also reveal opportunities for an immediate increase in the supply of private housing. Safe and affordable shelter is a fundamental human right. We aim for a society in which mobility and stability are options for all people to take up as their situation requires. While building more dwellings to increase supply is a necessity, we must also explore more immediate options that may be available to increase the availability of dwellings for the people of New South Wales who are searching for a home. This is why a vacancy audit or a use audit is critical. Reliance on data from one census night every 4 years is simply not sufficient. In our country, despite the growing demand for housing, vacancies do persist. There remain financial benefits to retaining essentially unproductive land or dwellings, which are contrary to the aims of providing affordable and accessible housing for all. The ideas of Georgism are valuable here. Private property rights are a fundamental liberal principle, but so too is a taxation system that is efficient and effective, not only at raising revenue, but at incentivising productive activity while disincentivising unproductive activity. Where principles are in tension, it is our responsibility in Parliament to consider options that do incentivise behaviour that offers human dignity and shelter while respecting an individual's right to choose the manner in which they use their assets. Unfortunately, we are experiencing the realities of soaring rental prices, limited availability and a lack of affordable housing options with little light in sight. Families, young professionals and individuals from all walks of life are struggling to find suitable and affordable homes. And the consequences of housing vacancies do extend beyond that individual life. They ripple through our communities, fueling inequality, straining social cohesion and hindering economic growth. Businesses struggle to attract and retain talent when potential employees face difficulties finding suitable housing nearby. Local economies suffer as disposable income diminishes, limiting citizens' ability to support local businesses and community initiatives. So many across our state, including my fellow millennials and Gen Z, members of the Gen Z generation, are abandoning the great Australian dream. They are giving up on owning property assets or even having the ability to establish roots in their communities. The psychological benefits of having a safe and secure place to call home cannot be overstated. To tackle housing vacancies effectively, it is crucial to prioritise increasing the supply of housing stock to meet the demand. It can be achieved by implementing measures that facilitate construction and increase land availability. A comprehensive approach that addresses short-term and long-term housing is essential. And we know that we can't just rely on public housing. It is simply not sustainable. So I urge the government to undertake an audit to properly diagnose this issue. It provides a solid foundation for evidence-based policy making, helps identify root causes, informs targeted interventions, optimises resource allocation, promotes collaboration, and allows for ongoing monitoring of progress. And there are several methods the government can use, and there are examples from the City of Melbourne, Vancouver, in San Francisco, Paris. They are using data sets from different government bodies like the US Census Bureau. There are vacant residential property surveys across the City of Melbourne at the moment. There is an empty homes tax in Canada that has been effective in addressing this issue. These case studies prove that there are several viable options for the government to consider in measuring vacancy rates and reducing vacancies to improve the efficiency of our housing market. But before we implement those measures, we must know from whence we came. Introducing and conducting a dwelling use audit is a critical component of understanding and easing our state's housing shortage. I sincerely encourage the government to implement such an audit immediately.